So yeah, this is just a quote from the one of the outcomes that we did within this project, because there were many outcomes in this project, and it just I let you to read, but that was how to say, started. So that was the main ars poetica, as we say, behind the program. That we do have different experiences and we do have different values, but those as well the starting points to cooperate and to learn from each other, and that we can go to do things together. We can go to the next. We have to emphasize that in this project, the context that we worked in is higher education. So the activity that we implemented is very much within and core within the higher education institution context. And it's a Erasmus funded project among different countries, where we only worked together with few countries on an active pilot project that we called Erasmus plus 60 intergenerational learning activities. The main question within this project, we wanted to find out how the certain higher education institutions can and could support or facilitate intergenerational learning with the participation of seniors and students in training. So the experience or the activity that we managed included students from different training programs from 3 countries, as well as seniors attending certain intergenerational learning activities of the partner institutions. There were several objectives that we wanted to reach out to that you see on the left, and let me just only name one. We wanted to introduce as well apply the non-formal learning activities within this pilot. So we decided that when implementing this project, we are trying out certain non-formal learning activities in order to enhance the learning dimension of this project. On the right, you see that the project was coordinated by our institute. It's a very long name, so I'm not going to read it out. And we had partner colleagues and institutes from Czech Republic and Croatia. This was a partnership which was, the partners were intentionally participating in this. So there was an open call, and these 2 institutes within the large consortium decided that they would like to cooperate with us. And that was very interesting, because Mendel University, on one hand, has a very, very outstanding intergenerational learning program at their context, while the Split University have, at the moment, no intergenerational learning activities offered to seniors within their context. So it was a little bit of a different experiential level when it comes to offering IG programs for seniors. As you see, we had 40 seniors from the 3 countries. Most of them were female, which is the case in the intergenerational learning activities when it comes to senior academies and such. And we had, as I said, from different programs, 53 students from our institutes.
So yes, so just shortly, the methodological background of this pilot program, what we planned together with my colleagues. So firstly, Emesha leads a very extensive and very detailed literature review, and based on that, we try to formulate the basic principles of these workshops. And firstly, we thought that maybe the project-based learning principles could lead to this kind of cooperative or intergenerational or intensive learning between generations, and that's why we choose as a first and basic principle for designing the whole workshop. And how you can see here, we listed some of the main features of the project-based learning. And what I highlighted, or we highlighted here, what was the main focus. So firstly, we was choosing this kind of problem and the solution of that problem, and it was very important that the participants were who choose this kind of problem or problem question on those they were working during a semester. I think if I plan 3 months, during 3 months, so it was an intensive and longer period of time that they were working on the problem. You see that they had to finish this period of time, this workshop, with a product at the end, and we had a very interesting and a very nice presentation at the end. The final meeting was about this kind of presentations of the groups. And what we intendedly put here, that we try to involve them in a different or use a different educational activities during these meetings. Later on, I will show you the structure of the workshops. And what was, I think, very important, that the staff or us, we leaded the workshops together with, or I did it with Barnabas, together put or created all this kind of facilitation. It was very, we highlighted this kind of advisory role. And later on a little bit, I will tell you about the mentoring. We introduced a mentoring system to that. And also what is important to highlight is kind of co-management principle. What is we really stressed out or highlighted for the group, for the participants, they have to decide, they have to work together as a group, so they have to share, take responsibilities, and do the task among themselves. So really, we wasn't really the kind of a classical teacher role. We facilitated or this process. And you can see here the structure of the workshop. So we had this pre-action phase when we put an orientation and preparation session, in which on what we started to prepare the participants to work together. We planned this kind of orientation, what is going on, what we planned, and how we are going to do this all processes. So we prepared somehow them, and of course we were discussing about how they learned, how seniors learn, how the young generation learn, how can we work together, collaborate together. So we put an emphasis on this kind of preparation. The action phase, it's about how they created and developed these projects. They worked with their own projects, and time to time, every second week, they come in to the university, and we discussed in detail how they work, what were the problems. We put different activities to support this kind of work together. And the post-action phase, it's about the closing and the presentation session where the groups presented their outcome, their product. And that was the final phase of the final step of the workshops. And between these these meetings with us, or together the big group, the leader groups were working by themselves. And here we introduced the mentoring system. We had 2 students from the andragogy MA program. They were there all the time, supporting this kind of collaboration. They were involving more intensively where they needed, or they only just were looking at what the groups are doing in a way, because we didn't want it to intervene in a very intensive way in this work. Only just we put these mentors between the groups and between the staff. So I think that it was a very interesting process to see in a different aspects and ways. You should know that maybe we can share the link to this toolkit. So the final product of our project here at Salta University, and together with the two partners, to create a toolkit in which we presented this kind of case studies about the program. So it was interesting to see that how this plan, how this intergenerational workshop plan was implemented in Czech with the Czech partners and with the Croatian partners. So here we put the links, and you can see that in this way you can access the links to the case studies where there is detailed the experiences and every other information about the workshop and the results.